On the last episode.
Interesting.
Yay!
Currently, I'm in search of someone who could be of assistance in saving the solar system.
Hey, what's with all this save the solar system stuff anyway?
My race, the Blog, have a small problem. Our planet has become so polluted, overpopulated, and poisonous that we are no longer able to dwell here. So, what does this mean to you, you might ask? We will be extracting a large portion of your planet and adding it to our new one. And if you don't like it, you can take your whiny, sniveling, snot-nosed populations, form a line behind me, and kiss my...
Actually, you could help me. If you could use your ship to take me to the coordinates contained in this infobot, I might be able to gather further information there.
So, I agree to take you to this wherever it is, and you get my ship started for me? Deal.
This could be a problem. Take care of it.
Oh, and by the way, you could stop calling me sir. The name's Ratchet.
My serial number is V54296.
Oops. I'll just call you Clank for short.
I don't see what's so funny. Captain Quark could dispatch you without even breaking a sweat, you puny. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. Oh, what are you? Mercenaries? Torturers? Assassins?
Sir, we're not assassins.
Hold on. Let's see what he's got.
Right out.
Yeah, Captain Quark is really sold out.
What? A ship?
Look, plumber's crack.
What did you just say? Newsflash, giant robots attacking! Geronimo! Ah!
Pipe down, I can't concentrate.
Did you see that guy on the left? That was Skid McMarx.
Looks like he's in trouble.
I'll say. I've never seen him look so freaked out.
And so it continues.
Hi there, Fuzzball.
Alright, so this game has... Obviously it has weapons. There is a ultimate weapon in this game, the super ultimate mega death weapon. And it costs a lot of bolts. And bolts, you can see in the top right there, is our currency. We use bolts to buy various things. The most important and expensive use of our bolts is progressing the game. You saw on the last planet we had to pay 500 bolts in order to get that infobot to the planet. And there's going to be many circumstances in this game where we're going to have to spend our bolts in order to either unlock a gadget or an infobot or something in order to progress the game. So that's going to be the major thing that we save up our bolts for. But something else I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try and save up enough bolts to get the super ultimate mega weapon, which I'm not going to spoil what it is yet. I'm going to save up bolts for that because typically you don't see, like, it's so insanely expensive that you don't really see, or you don't really get the chance to buy it on your first playthrough of the game. This game has a New Game Plus feature where once you beat the game you can restart the game from the beginning and you keep all your weapons and bolts and stuff like that. And it's on your second playthrough that you'll be able to save up enough bolts to get the super ultimate mega weapon. But I think it is possible to get the weapon on your first playthrough. I've never done it before, but I think it is possible to just squeak it out. You'll see just how expensive it is and why it's so difficult pretty soon. Well, in a little bit. And I'll point it out once we get there. But anyways, my point is that I'm going to try and save every last bolt possible in this game. So you saw me buy this weapon earlier called the Blaster, and it cost, like, what was it, 2,000 bolts? And you might be thinking to yourself, okay, well, if you're trying to save up all the bolts you can, then why did you buy the Blaster? And it's very simple. This game, for the most part, you can use your wrench to get through most of the enemies. The wrench is in this game in particular, the wrench is pretty powerful. And the wrench is your melee weapon. You also start with a free weapon called the bomb glove, and the bomb glove is also actually pretty good too. But the problem with both the wrench and the bomb glove is you can see the little target reticle on the ground. The bomb glove can only shoot so far, and the blaster actually has range to it. And so that's purely the reason why we buy the blasters, because it has long range. It also has tons of ammo, which is nice. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's just the fact that it has so much ammo that makes it really good. So that's why we get the blaster. You saw when we were up there, we shot down that helicopter thing. If we didn't have the blaster, we wouldn't have been able to do that. So that's another reason why we buy it. But yeah, other than that, I'm going to try and save every last bolt possible in order to try and get this mega weapon by the end of the game.
Ratchet, that's the man we saw on the infobot. Remember? He knows Captain Quark.
Hey, you're that robot guy, right?
No, actually, I build robots. I myself am not a robot guy, per se.
Nerd.
I like him.
So, now that we've cleared that up, what can I do for you?
Well, we saw your infobot announcement. You were with Captain Quark. We're trying to find Captain Quark. We thought you could help us.
Your logic is commendable. However, I haven't seen Captain Quark since we shot that commercial. Say, do you run on standard XP18 sister boards?
Version 7.66.
Back at ya. I may be able to help you out after all. How does a helipack upgrade sound?
Upgrade?
Natch. Since he's a 766, I could have the little guy up and flying in no time. Of course, I'll just need my fee for service.
So this is another thing that's littered throughout the game. I think every single planet we visit has something like this. There's a couple of exceptions, but and stuff like this only gets more expensive throughout the game. So it's probably the biggest thing that holds us back from being able to buy the mega weapon throughout the game, but we literally cannot progress the game without buying this. So it's going to be our biggest bolt sink throughout the game, is these specific you have to purchase this thing in order to progress the game instances.
Okay, this won't hurt a bit.
Hey, wait. Ratchet, am I cool now?
Yeah, you the man, Clank.
You're welcome.
Oh man, the characters in this game, the character writing is so good, and it just makes me so sad that the remake for this game, they just butchered the characters so bad. I mean, right out of the gate, they portray Ratchet as being some kind of like nerd who dreams of becoming a hero, and like, it just goes to show that the people who remade this game didn't play this game. Which is just such a shame. Because Ratchet, he does not want to be a hero. He just wants to be free, essentially. He wants to be able to explore the universe and do whatever he wants, right? And he doesn't even have like a morally good sense of justice, per se. I'm gonna grab these. Right, he's not too concerned with saving the universe. Again, he's only helping out Clank because Clank is his ride, essentially. Clank is his freedom. And so obviously he's going to try and help Clank so that he can keep his freedom. But Ratchet in this game, like, he's not even a nerd either. He points out that Al is a nerd because, I mean, he's talking with Clank and, you know, Ratchet's like, oh, look at him, he's a nerd. So Ratchet's kind of a cool guy in this game, and it's just something I wish they had gotten right in the remakes. It's so simple. Like, all they had to do was just play the game, you know, and look at the writing and how the characters developed, and they could have done something so similar, but nope. And even like the big bad villain, Supreme Ultimate Executive Chairman Drek, like, they butchered him so bad. They turned him into like a joke, a giant joke. And in this game, he's anything but that. He's an actual threat. Like, he's a big issue, and he's actually evil. You know, he's not just a joke. It just makes me sad. So you might be asking why I'm doing this, and it's because I'm going to show you what skill points are. Skill points are essentially achievements. You have to keep in mind that this game came out before achievements were a thing. So they had a built-in achievement thing, and skill points are essentially rewarded to you for doing various tasks to show that you demonstrate either skill or exploration or something like that. Skill points aren't really that much of a big deal. Once you beat the game, and start a new game, you'll get a new menu called the Goodies menu, which you can use your skill points to unlock cheats like Big-Headed mode and various other random stuff. And the reason why I bring it up is because I'm not trying to do like 100% run of this game. So I'm not going to try and get all the skill points, but something I am going to do is, you might have already seen them, and you'll see them like right now over there, that little shiny yellow thing, the gold bolts. There are, I think there's 40 gold bolts in the entire game, and something I am going to get is all of these. There's no real reason for it. There is something you can use your gold bolts for to purchase later on, but again, I'm using my bolts to save up for the mega weapons, so you could save your gold bolts and, you know, use them to purchase the thing I'm not going to spoil later on, but I don't know, it's just something I've always done in this game whenever I play it, is I go for all the gold bolts. So why not, you know? But again, I'm not going to go for like 100% of the game, so I'm not going to do all of the skill points. It's just the gold bolts I'm going for. Man, I think I have finally gone through everything I want to say. I'm done with all my explanations and all my update stuff, and so finally get to practice the thing where I don't talk so much as I play the game. Shit. So one thing I will say is that because I've played this game so much in my life, I am pretty good at this game. You'll pretty much never see me die playing this game. I will take damage, because there's just some instances in this game where like you can't help but take damage no matter what. And you'll see at the very top of the screen there, that's my health. I basically take 4 hits and I die. There is a way to upgrade that later on so that we have more hits, but essentially every single damage source in this game can only deal 1 damage to you at a time. So yeah, it's 4 hits and you die. But I am pretty good at this game, so, you know, 4 HP is enough. I say that and watch me die, like, right away here. Nah, these enemies are chumps, I won't die to them. I will fall off maybe, though, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, the blaster is just such like an integral part of the game. Without it, it's much more difficult. It's pretty much a must-buy. There'll come a certain point in the game where we're going to be using the blaster much more than we are right now, but for these beginning planets, it's not really that big of a deal, so I'm not going to be using it that much.
Greetings, Executive Chairman Drek.
Dispense with the pleasantries, Lieutenant. My sources tell me you're behind schedule. You must prepare this planet to be harvested for our new world.
Yes, sir. As you can see, everything is moving along as planned.
I'm counting on you, Lieutenant. And as your former commander can tell you, I don't take disappointment well.
Yes, sir. I won't fail.
Drek is destroying yet another planet.
Yeah, but if that's the kind of help he's getting, I don't think we have anything to worry about.
You should not underestimate Chairman Drek. He is quite dangerous. We must find Captain Quark.
Look, that lieutenant doesn't seem so tough. Let's take him out ourselves.
Perhaps we can persuade the lieutenant to tell us where Drek is.
Now you're talking.
Okie dokie. So, you saw in the cutscene there that Ratchet, like, we saw that the lieutenant is reporting into Drek, right? And he's basically explaining to him, like, oh yeah, we've cut down all these trees on this planet like you wanted us to. And Drek, being as evil as he is, he's like, oh yeah, just destroy the entire planet, how about? It just reinforces, you know, that Drek is actually an evil threat. And so Ratchet's like, you know what, the lieutenant doesn't seem so bad, let's just go take care of that ourselves. It's one of the few instances to show that, you know, Ratchet's not, he's not like ignoring what's happening, like he's not gonna be like, oh, a planet's being destroyed, who cares, right? He is trying to stop it, but it's just, it's so subtle that, like, if you're not paying attention, you miss it, you know what I mean?
Welcome to the Captain Quark Fitness Course. If you're strong enough, fast enough, and clever enough to beat my fitness challenge, you will receive a reward from my head trainer. Simply make your way to the third island to complete the course. Good luck. Quark Enterprises is not responsible for sprains, broken bones, snapped tendons, bruised egos, or accidental death incurred while taking the challenge.
Excuse me, Captain, but we have more pressing issues. We urgently need your assistance.
Clank,
Yes?
do you notice anything unusual about Captain Quark?
Well, I find the fact that he has a spring where his leg should be to be quite puzzling.
And why do you think that is?
Possibly an injury incurred while battling evil?
This isn't the real Captain Quark, you numbskull. It's a robot.
Oh.
Man, that's another thing that, like, just because Clank's a robot doesn't mean he's, you know, like he's super smart or anything like that. Like, you have to remember that he was made, like, just a few days ago in the game. Like, he's brand spanking new, so he still has yet to, like, recognize stuff like that in order to tell, you know, something like a robot Captain Quark from the real one. And it makes sense, you know, and it's again, it's the subtle things that, like, again, if you're not paying attention, you'll just miss it. And it's something that the remake doesn't get right. Like, the remake makes Clank to be up this, like, just, you know, super know-it-all, you know, smart nerd kind of guy, when in this game, Clank's actually kind of an idiot. And it makes sense for him to be an idiot too, as I mentioned. But the biggest goal right now for Clank is he's trying to get to Captain Quark, obviously, because he believes that Captain Quark would be able to take down Chairman Drek. And I should probably mention this now, just so that you guys keep it in the back of your mind, but if you remember when we first escaped Ratchet's home planet in the ship that he built, Chairman Drek, for whatever reason, was watching, and he saw Ratchet escaping the planet on his ship, and he was talking to a shadowy figure, and he said, this could be a problem, take care of it. And you saw this shadowy figure, like, dip off, and if you paid close enough attention, you'll notice that it looks eerily similar to Captain Quark, the shadowy outline. And it's something you need to keep in the back of your head as we go forward here, because it's pretty important. It's a little bit spoilery, but again, the game straight up, like, shows that to you. And again, if you were paying attention, you'll just miss it. And I do think it's important. So, but Clank is under full assumption that as soon as they reach Captain Quark, he can just tell him about Drek, and Captain Quark will stop him. And so that's what kind of drives Clank forward. And Ratchet's obviously dragged along with that, because Ratchet's just trying to help Clank, you know, reach his goals. Because, you know, Clank scratches Ratchet's back, and Ratchet will scratch his in return. Damn, I just blew up that ship as it was driving by. Haha, yeah. Those, the ships don't drop many bolts. I think they drop like 4 or 3 or something like that. But, I remember as a kid, again, trying to get the super ultimate mega weapon, I remember sitting there for hours throwing my wrench at those ships just to get them to drop a handful of bolts. So I can try and save up to buy the mega weapon. Yeah, literally hours I would spend there trying to destroy those ships for some bolts. Something to keep in mind is that the crates in the game, they'll drop, I mean, it increases the further you go in the game, which kind of makes sense because stuff only gets more and more expensive as you go in the game, so obviously the crates should drop more and more bolts, but at this point in the game, they'll drop like 6 bolts on average, and that's only the first time you break them. If you come back to this planet after you clear everything out, like you go to another planet and then come back, some of the crates you destroy will respawn, but the amount of bolts they drop are like, they're halved. You only get like 3 bolts out of them, and then if you do it again, you only get like 1 bolt out of them, and then from that point onward, you're only going to continue to get 1 bolt out of the crates. So it's, you get diminishing returns on the crates, which is, you know, it's pretty bad, so you have to find other ways to try and make some bolts. I believe that enemies that don't spawn out of like enemy generators, which we destroyed some earlier on in this on this planet, I can't really describe to you what they look like, but there are enemies, or there are enemy generators in this game which constantly spew out enemies until you destroy it. And if you keep killing the enemies that the enemy generator makes, then the amount of bolts that those enemies drops will decrease over time. But I believe that if you were to like leave a planet and come back, the enemies that respawn, they don't have diminishing returns on the amount of bolts they drop. So you could farm them potentially. But essentially my point is that there's very limited ways to farm bolts in this game, so you kind of have to do stuff like farm the ships like I did, like I mentioned that I did when I was younger.
Listen up, you loudballs! That was the most pathetic display I have ever seen on that obstacle course!
What do you mean?
We finished the circuit, ma'am.
Oh yeah, but it is weak. When I was competing, I would devour courses like that for breakfast!
Bet that's not all.
If it were up to me, you would drill for the rest of the day. But somehow you managed to impress that fool Captain Quark.
Captain Quark knows about us?
He certainly does. And worst of all, he wants me to give you a prize for that ridiculous performance.
Cool, what is it?
I'm supposed to give you a swing shot, so you can sway to and fro like little insects.
All right, let's see it.
Not so fast. Today, the two of you disgraced my obstacle course, so I am going to make you pay.
But that prize is ours from the captain. That's not fair.
Too bad. Life's not fair.
Man, the dialogue in this game is so good. I've been playing this game for 20 years, and I still enjoy every last second of it. It's so good. In the next cutscene here, you'll see a little bit of humor, and I want to know if you guys get it. But it's so sly and so subtle. Like, again, subtlety is the name of this game, I'm telling you. So let's see if you guys can figure out what the joke is here.
Sweet. I bet Captain Quark uses stuff like this all the time.
Ha! Real men can swing without silly toys like that. The two of you make me sick.
It's so good, man. It's so good. And as like a kid playing this game, you wouldn't really like a no to something like that because he just can't understand it. But as an adult, like, you even pick up the fact that like Ratchet and Clank respond to it, like they have a reaction to it. They're like, "What the heck? Why did you just say that?" It's so good. And there's a couple other instances in this game where they'll do that. They'll like either look at the camera or look at you, and it's like, man, that's funny. Oh, so good, man. I seriously cannot praise this game enough. The writing, even the music, like the music is such a bop in this game. It's so good. And it's fun to play. It's a shooter platformer. It's so good. It is pretty hard to get your hands on like a PlayStation 2 and like an original copy of this game. But I do believe that PSN has this game on sale right now. Like they're selling the original games. This one, Going Commando, Up Your Arsenal, and Deadlock. So if you guys have a PlayStation 4 or a 5, and you haven't already, pick this game up. Seriously, pick this game up and all the other original Ratchet and Clank games. It's so good. It's definitely worth every last penny you spend on it. So here we could see a kind of interesting mechanic. That bolt normally would be out of our range, obviously, but the wrench, if you throw it, can pick up bolts that are far away. There's one other item in the game, which we'll get pretty soon, that can also pick up bolts from far away, just randomly as a mechanic. And it's so random too. Like if you didn't know, you would never have like thought to do it. And it's little stuff like that. Like they didn't need to put that mechanic in the game, but they did.
It's him, Skid McMarks.
That man from the infobot.
In the flesh, little dude. You guys get a load of that epic space battle I was in?
We saw ya, screaming for help.
That was like a war cry. My agent and I got ambushed on the way to hoverboard practice.
Did he survive the crash, sir?
Yeah, he's okay. But I've had a little trouble getting back to my ship due to my sprained ankle.
Oh, come on.
If you can take out all the sand sharks, I just might have a spare hoverboard for you.
We'd love to help you, Mr. McMarks, but Ratchet and I need to find Captain...
One of your boards? I've always wanted a decent hoverboard. Well, alright. You just keep that foot elevated.
Man, Ratchet's hands are so huge in this game. I think they make his hands smaller in future games, but just for whatever reason they made his hands so big. But that cutscene there, again, reiterating sort of the difference between Ratchet and Clank's goals right now. Clank is like, we don't really have time to help you. We have to try and find Captain Quark to, save the galaxy. And Ratchet's like, wait a minute, you're gonna give me a hoverboard? Well, maybe we will help you then. So you saw those ammo crates just then. I picked up what's called pyroster ammo. We don't actually own that weapon, and yet that ammo crate dropped that ammo. Ammo crates, for the most part in this game, they will never drop ammo to weapons you don't own. And the way they work is that they calculate like which weapon doesn't have ammo in it. So like right now I'm full on bomb glove ammo and I'm full on blaster ammo. And if I were to destroy an ammo crate, it'll just drop random ammo. But if I were to use like bomb glove ammo, like right now, then when I go to destroy an ammo crate, it'll always drop bomb ammo. Because my blaster ammo is full. If I were to shoot a shot of blaster ammo, then it'll be random again. But for the most part, ammo crates will never drop ammo to weapons you don't own, except for a couple of instances, like you saw right there. There's also, I think there's 2 other instances in the game that it'll drop ammo to a weapon we don't own, and I don't know why. It's just for whatever reason, those specific crates will just drop ammo to those kind of weapons, and they're like programmed to do that. And like casually you wouldn't really think much of it because normally you would buy those weapons because, you know, oh cool, a shiny new weapon, you know, why not buy it? So you would typically have those weapons by the time you destroy those crates, but yeah, I don't know. It's just something quirky I thought I would point out for some reason. Here's an example of an enemy generator. So enemies, when you kill them, they drop like 7 bolts or something like that. And if I keep killing these guys, they begin to drop less and less over time. Yeah, that guy just dropped a 1. This guy will drop 1. And all the enemies from then onward will only drop 1 bolt. So you could farm those, but it'll take like thousands and thousands and thousands of these guys to kill before you have enough bolts for the mega weapon. It's just not worth it at that point, you know? So there's only like a specific range that you can walk in before you pick up a bolt. Obviously, if you throw your wrench, you have a little bit further range. There is an item like way later on that increases the range for you to pick up bolts, so you don't have to like walk right on top of them before you pick it up. However, that item, like you only get it like pretty much at the end of the game, so unfortunately we kind of have to suffer and walk on top of the bolts in order to collect them. Ooh, I'm gonna die. Ooh. Me talking big game saying I won't die in this game. But that's another instance where like there's sometimes there's literally nothing you can do and you're just gonna take damage no matter what. It happens, you know. Now, where's the other guy? I thought he was like literally right here. Oh, there he is.
Here, man. Catch.
A brand new Z3000. You can't even buy these.
Well, I got a bail. Catch you dudes at the hoverboard races.